So today we're going to be tying a super simple and very effective fly. Very similar to like a squirmy worm, but I tie it on a jig head. And it only takes about 2 minutes to tie once you get it down. And like I said, super effective. I've caught everything from carp, bass, crappie, trout, especially great for stocked trout. Or in the winter or muddy water, anything, this fly really shines. Like I said, super simple to tie. Only takes probably less than 2 minutes once you really get them down. And just super effective. So let's get into it. So this pattern is one of the simplest yet most effective and most versatile patterns I know. And just about any fish that will eat a worm will eat this. So to start off, we're just going to cut a piece of squirmy material, and you're just going to tie it down however long you want the tail. And I like to leave mine a little long because you can always cut it down later, and a lot of times they'll get eaten off anyways. So we're just going to tie this down. They can be a little hard to tie down because you don't want to pull too tight or else it'll rip. But just tie this thing down, and I want it to extend the whole length of that body just to give that body a little more girth. Okay. Then once I have that tied down, like that, I'm then going to take this back part, work it all the way back, so just wrap my thread all the way up to tie that down, and then we will begin the body, twisting this up to create the body. And you want to pull pretty tight. This makes it nice and thin, and then I'll go over that a couple times just to build up however much girth, however much girth you want for that body. Be careful not to overlap the tail like I just did. Then once we get to the top, we are just gonna tie this down quick. Like so. And we'll whip finish it. Just whip finish that. Then we're gonna add a little dubbing for the head. And then as we get to the head part, this part is optional, but what I'll do is I like to take a little bit of this Cinyo's laser dub, and it comes a little long, so what I'll do is I'll pull out a piece like this, and I'll just cut it in half to get that length right. So I'll cut that in half, and then just pull it apart, put it back together, pull it apart, put it back together, and then I'll just dub a little bit of this around the head. And like I said, this is completely optional, but I think it adds a little nice touch to the fly. Alright. And we'll just dub that around and whip finish once again. Like that. And cut. And so there we have the fly finished up. And then one last thing we can do is, one last thing I like to do with these flies, because this squirmy worm material is so fragile and this body will get chewed up, is I'll take a little of this silicone glue and just apply it to the body, a thin layer all around the body. So like I was saying, you just take a thin layer of this silicone glue, apply it to the body, and then a helpful tip is if you coat your fingers in glue, it helps so that the glue doesn't stick to your fingers, and it makes it easier to work this onto the body. UV resin will also work well, the soft flexible UV resin. And just like that, the fly is finished up.